This is Sarah Squires bringing you behind the headlines in today's edition of WyoToday Newsroom. Today I am joined on the show by senior reporter Marit Gookin. Hi, Marit.
Hey, Sarah. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. I'm really happy that we're able to kind of put together another roundtable where we kind of deliver on that promise to bring you behind the headlines. And here we are kind of sitting at the news desk and sharing some of the latest. One of the things I wanted to start out with is making the rounds here, and it is the announcement that our Fremont County Sheriff, Ryan Lee, is going to retire at the end of his current term. Now, Sheriff Lee has been working in public safety here for 31 years, 3 decades in Fremont County with 26 years with the Sheriff's Office. He put out a statement late last week saying it's been an honor to serve the county for those 3 decades. And he's really asking the folks to just really keep local law enforcement members and local law enforcement members across the country in their thoughts and prayers as they do the good work of keeping us safe. Now, the term that Sheriff Lee is currently in, of course, will be up just after the new year here. So that position is on the November ballot. Of course, Eric Murphy has announced a couple months ago that he is going to take a run for that sheriff's seat. So it'll be interesting to see whether we have any other local candidates stepping up to the plate as Sheriff Lee has announced his retirement. Now, turning to kind of another corner of the county or a little beat here that's usually kind of resting on your shoulders, Mara. We got a couple of things coming out of Lander. What should we know about?
Yeah. So there's some things that have been going on at recent city council meetings. Folks, if you want to learn more about city council meetings, pick up a copy of the Lander Journal. We try to cover them pretty thoroughly. But, we also recently got a couple updates from the city of Lander. So on Wednesday, the city is going to be doing maintenance to the west side of the rural water fill station. That is, where folks who live out of town go to fill up on water and take it back to their cisterns. And of course, there are some commercial vehicles that deliver water as well that fill up there. So repairs are scheduled to start at 9, and the city said in their announcement that they expect them to last all the way till 5 p.m. So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday, can't get water if you live out of town. So make sure if you need to haul water, you do it before Wednesday morning. And
good
then also coming up here. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, that's good to know. I'm glad we got a little bit of notice on this one. There have been a couple closures that maybe caught people by surprise. So just make sure that you remember you got some time here to fill up for your water before that closure on Wednesday.
Yeah. It's really good to know, as you know, Sarah, I also have a cistern, so that's an issue that has a personal impact for me, for sure. And I appreciate the notice. And then, also we've got a big sports weekend coming up. So on January 23rd and 24th, we're going to have women's wrestling teams and men's wrestling teams in town. On January 24th, we're going to have a big swimming and diving meet. I think we're expecting 13 teams. So should be a good weekend for the Tigers. Get out there and cheer on our kids on the mats and in the lanes. They work hard and really appreciate your support when you can make the time to go cheer for them.
Yeah, it should be a spectacular weekend coming up here for our local athletes, really kind of showing off, showcasing this part of the state as we welcome athletes from across Wyoming as well. Now, speaking of showcasing and kind of tooting our own horns here, maybe if you're just kind of a regular listener here, you might not realize that Marit and I are a dynamic duo, both on and off the air. So we also are leading the charge here for our local newspapers with the Riverton Ranger, the Lander Journal, and the Wind River News. So I act as managing editor. Marit is my senior reporter. Reporter. And this is the time of year where we have our statewide Press Association convention. And it is also the time of year when we learn about our hard work, when we put it up against some of the best in the state. So we have what's called the Wyoming Press Association annual contest. So we submit some of our stories, some of our work for over the course of the year, and then we have out-of-state judges take a look at those in a bunch of different categories, and they choose, who's the winners for the year. And so for most of the awards are divided into 3 circulation classes. So we've got the kind of the big papers of the state. That includes the Ranger. We go up against newspapers like the Wyoming Tribune Eagle, the Casper Star Tribune, Powell and Cody, and a number of other kind of heavy hitting, real serious papers for that division. And then the Journal is in the kind of mid-sized division, and Wind River News competes in the smallest circulation category. So we had a pretty impressive year, and wanted to just take a couple of minutes to recognize some of the work that we put in. We had a very special category this year where kind of an outside watchdog nonprofit that really works to support investigative journalism came in, and we had a special category for investigative journalism this year. And so that was where all of the newspapers, regardless of circulation, competed amongst one another. And Marit and I had a pretty good showing. So together, some projects that we worked on over the course of 2025 earned first and second place in that special category this year. So we're pretty pumped. Kudos to you, Marit. I know those were pretty big projects that we worked on. The first place award went to an article that you probably read in both papers that had to do with how tax money is being used in politics in Wyoming. The second place award went to a story that you may well have read about in the Journal, having to do with an issue that we uncovered with the City of Lander's practice of printing and sending over public notices regarding action taken by the City Council that the Council actually had not finalized yet. So that was a really big honor, I think, that we were able to bring away. We also scored big in government issue reporting and some of that watchdog journalism that we, take a lot of pride in. First Amendment awards were won in both the Ranger Division and the Lander Journal Division. Our reporter, Austin Beckdoss, really made a name for himself in the world of feature reporting, really kind of winning across the board for arts, entertainment, and culture reporting, too. All in all, we won 26 awards between the papers. If you want to check out more about those winnings and, wager your bets on what really shined this year from what you were able to take away from the Ranger and Lander Journal, make sure you check out the Wednesday paper. We'll have a list of them in there. But I just wanted to take this time to really congratulate you, Marit. I think you've really kind of stepped to the stage as one of the premier journalists in Wyoming. And yeah, people are taking notice. So good for you, Marit. It's been really great to see you.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. Folks, if you didn't catch it last year, Sarah was Journalist of the Year for the whole state. So she knows what she's talking about. And of course, she did very well again this year as well. Put in a lot of long hours and a lot of hard work. And we both, really put a lot of work into both the Journal and the Ranger and of course the Wind River News. So we appreciate that recognition. And I think, too, we can't tell the stories that we do without the folks in our community. So, if we're writing a feature about somebody or if we're interviewing people for a harder hitting story and, we have that everyday voice of people who care about government transparency, you are a part of these awards as well. We couldn't do it without the folks here in Fremont County.
Yeah. Well, news organizations like the one we've got here are really a reflection of the community. And so I think we should all take some real pride in being recognized across the state for the work that we do, which is really just lifting up the stories that we find here. I should mention, too, one of the awards that we received was for our editorial page. So that's like the opinion page. And the way that the judges are instructed to judge that category is to really take stock of, the guest opinions, the letters to the editor that we receive, and recognizing that we have a healthy dialogue and really engaged citizens in our community, reading our paper, chiming in on important issues. And so that I think is yet another testament to the insight that folks bring to the table when we've got hard issues that we're trying to work through. When we're keeping an eye on the government, we're not alone. We know that. So we've got a lively, very active little democracy going on here in Fremont County, and folks are really engaged. And so I think that is such an important component of what we're working to do here to highlight our communities. And, I did want to throw out there, too, my part of my origin story, I think, in arriving to Wyoming has to do with this competition. So years ago, I was an out-of-state judge. So, the state that I was in, we kind of trade, and they choose, journalists who are kind of senior level in their careers, who have kind of the bandwidth to be able to judge their colleagues. And so I was judging the Wyoming contest, and I was so impressed with the journalism happening here in the Cowboy State. I thought to myself, gosh, there must be something in the water in Wyoming. And if I remember, I was reading, I think it was Mark Davis out of Powell, the Powell Tribune, that I was so impressed with. I thought, are we sure this isn't, some long form scientific magazine I'm reading? And it really planted a seed in my mind that, maybe that is a good place to make a destination for me, for my career. And lo and behold, here I am. And I'm so proud to be among such an incredible kind of family of journalists here. We know in this day and age that it can be hard to find news that you can trust. And so I think we put a lot of value in being able to demonstrate to our readers that we take ethics seriously, that we are doing a good job, that we are, responding to feedback, guidance, best practices. And that we are here fighting for the truth for you guys. So once again, way to go, Marit, and make sure you pick up a Lander Journal, Wind River News, The Ranger, on the stands. Get a subscription. That'll keep you in the loop, truly. If you want to be part of, what's going on when we've got issues in our communities here, you can be in the know. You can be part of the solution, and that's really what we offer with WyoToday. So thanks so much to our readers. Thanks to Marit for joining me today. And also, I should say, thanks to our sponsors. Today's show is sponsored by Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton here. Now, we are staring down kind of the tail end of winter, and we know that's when it's going to, knock on wood, probably get cold here. And Porter's has got some serious lineups of, everything from grills to fireplaces to accessories to hot tubs. I mean, you could make sure that you're warm and cozy all year long. You can check them out, see what they've got for you. They've also got some special financing that make it easier to upgrade your heating system, your grilling system. Get yourself a hot tub out there and stay cozy all winter long. If you want to give them a call at 856-6066, or you can check them out at 750 East Sunset Drive in Riverton. Thanks so much, Marit.
Thanks, Sarah.